And we're gonna still do this. We're gonna still do this. It's not gonna stop. Take that. It's still gonna happen. The got 3 million and we're still waking up in the morning, drinking cognac, screaming, bad boy, bad boy. And it won't stop, and it can't stop. And it's not gonna stop. You thought just because you got 3 million, you change it? Take care of what you need to take care of. You glad that you got away with 3 million. Be happy. No, don't you stop me. Be happy you got away with 3 million. I don't give a what you told the cameras. You wanted to be Illuminati. You wanted the big cars and you wanted to get pimped for it. So don't blame him for giving you what you asked for. Because he's still going to be Diddy at the end of the day.
Los Angeles Fair got more smoking. Orlando Brown, that is correct, that previous TV star whose wild ups and downs have been all over social media has authoritatively acknowledged a government subpoena to affirm against Sean Diddy Combs in a major criminal case. Court records dropped nowadays affirming that Brown is presently a key witness for the indictment. And he's coming in hot with mystery voice memos from not one, not two, but 3 ends of the week went through at properties tied to Diddy. You can't be Lord of Ruler. Why you think I adore Diddy so much? You're not planning to oust this man since he know how to urge you there. By way of hazing you, I call it cloudiness. And we're planning to still do this. We're progressing to still do this. It's not planning to halt. Take that. It's still progressing to happen. They got 3 million and we're still waking up within the morning drinking cognac shouting, awful boy, awful giggling boy. Agreeing to Brown's lawful group, these voice memos were recorded on a moment phone he kept on plane mode as it were turning it on briefly to record his contemplations. He was clearly following everything from who was within the visitor wing to what staff was doing late at night, indeed passage developments. Government specialists say the sound records are pressed with metadata that flawlessly lines up with remote switch logs they as of now had. And get this, a fixed sworn statement presently somewhat unlocked says Brown's phone identifier appears upright in those limited zones precisely when he claimed he was there. Prosecutors say this backs up other difficult proof like computerized spreadsheets from ex-security boss Roger Bonds and savvy lighting logs that appear lights being physically turned off during the center of the night. Diddy's attempting to slaughter me? You know, Diddy and Jay-Z, Auntie Sean, and close relative Yolanda. No matter how numerous contracts you attempt to require out on my life, no matter how numerous times you attempt to undermine my family or undermine individuals to remain absent from me, no matter how numerous things you attempt to do to me and how numerous things you've attempted to do to me, it ain't working. Do not play with some person simply no got the drop. I truly took one taste of my refreshment and the complete side of my confront felt like I had a stroke. Brown's memos indeed caught security radio chatter utilizing the Express Pulse Reset, a code that supposedly implies entryways were cycling and cameras were briefly darkened. The defense team isn't buying it in spite of the fact that they're calling the term safe and claim Brown's fair attempting to score focuses in a disconnected Nevada gun case. Still, beneath the participation bargain, Brown may get a break in that case on the off chance that he plays ball. Orlando Brown isn't fair talking. He's bolted into a lawful bargain that requests the truth. The entire truth or else. I got on a plane at 5:30 a.m. this party. I think half the individuals there were but exposed. Well, it's not up to me. It's up to Mr. Combs. And I do not see it happening. Why? Since he accepts he's blameless. He accepts he's guiltless. And what's more, he accepts that he ought to stand up and not fair for himself, for his family, and for everyone who's been focused on by the government. His participation assent Ion clearly states that on the off chance that he lies or indeed twists the truth, any shot at tolerance is gone. Prosecutors say that clause demonstrates he has each reason to be accurate. The defense, they're flipping it, claiming it appears he's just attempting to spare his possessed skin. Judge Aaron Subramanian isn't sitting around idly. He's lined up a brief hearing to go over the chain of care on Brown's recordings and affirmed that Brown will affirm amid the moment week of the prosecution's case. Interior the court, it's approximately to be a confrontation of 2 completely diverse stories. Prosecutors are coming in with a smooth arrange. They'll play Brown's audio memos in chronological arrange, coordinating them with synced-up organized visuals. Think entryway sensor blips and lighting shifts that move in genuine time with his voice. At that point, advanced forensics master will take the stand to point out that the recordings are crude. No cuts, no alters, no traps, but the defense is prepared to punch back. They're bringing in a neighborliness specialist who will contend that extravagance domains frequently turn off passage cameras to ensure visitor security, not to cover up anything shady. And they'll claim the cloth benefit receipts are completely typical for high-end occasions. Well, charge and shot tolerating a supplication assent ion would cruel that Sean Combs would got to concede to trafficking and constrain, and today he made it exceptionally clear that was not reaching to happen. Did he keep up all along? These experiences included consenting grown-ups and plans to require his chances that a jury concurs? Isn't that, to my intellect, that's one of the greater obstacles in selecting a jury this coming week, is that there's at slightest narratively, and when I conversation to individuals, they have that supposition, unequivocally held conclusion that there's celebrity tapes, that they've kind of conflated Epstein, and you said Max Jelline Maxwell, and in all of these things into Diddy. There's this thought that by one means or another that typically Epstein redux or something. Exterior the court, the aftermath has as of now begun. Big-name ability organizations are revamping their occasion security rules, presently requesting straightforward phone rules, real-time exits for visitors, and third-party reps who can report shady stuff without inquiring authorization. One of the beat private occasion guarantees is indeed patching up their arrangements, inquiring modern questions approximately entryway locks, lighting controls, and staff messages. And in a major turn, officials have included Brown's title to the witness list for up-and-coming hearings on a modern charge. The Creative Industry Visitor Security Act pointed at subsidizing mysterious tip lines for visitors to report offense. The upcoming trial isn't fair-making features. It's shaking up the whole amusement world. A proposed charge is presently pushing to set least preparing benchmarks for security teams at enormous occasions. And entertainer promotion bunches are commending Orlando Brown for venturing up. They're saying his strong move demonstrates that individual recordings can be a lifesaver when official frameworks drop the ball. In the meantime, Sean Diddy Combs is still bolted up in government care, holding up for his day in court. His legitimate group dropped a modern recording nowadays, claiming that all those changing linen orders, entryway sensor pings, and moving light settings the prosecutors are hyping up fair commerce as regular at any high-end bequest. But prosecutors let go back, saying those information focuses flawlessly line up down to the moment with Brown's voice memos, which kind of coordinate tells a capable story. As jury determination gets closer, things are getting genuine. Voir dire surveys have as of now gone out, and there's presently one modern address. Well, knowing Brown from his TV days mess along with your judgment? Anybody who says yes will be kicked off the jury. No wrangle about. In the event that attendants purchase into Brown's story and accept his recordings are genuine, time-stamped verification, at that point the prosecutors will have something huge. A first-hand account that backs up all the tech information. What made you come here to bolster back Puff? I'm supporting Puff since he's blameless, and I'm wholeheartedly accepting his blamelessness, and I know he's guiltless. So, well, you said you know he's guiltless 100%. Mr. Combs feels that he's blameless, which is why he's not progressing to argue blameworthy. B. He's progressing to be honest almost this case, since he needs to depict that to the individuals who have cherished him his entirety life. And I think he too feels in commitment to individuals in common. Possibly it's dark individuals, possibly it's white individuals, perhaps it's anyone who's ever felt aggrieved and focused on by the government. He feels in commitment to those people to say, you know what, possibly I can break the demonstrate, perhaps I can appear the world that a dark man can win, in government court. And I think he likely is the as it were individual I know of who could be able to really finish that. And when the judge did, Diddy, who was sitting at the defense table with his lawyers, did not appear any signs of feeling. He took a taste of water some time recently. He was driven out of the court by the U.S. Marshals. Presently, his lawyers have pledged to battle this. They are reaching to be back in court on Wednesday. Sometime recently, the judge who will supervise this trial and attempt to induce Diddy to be discharged. But the defense is ready to fight hard, trying to keep Brown's past scandals from clouding what's really on trial. But the defense is prepared to battle difficult, attempting to keep Brown's past outrages from clouding what's really on trial. They'll contend this can be fair as state coordination's being blown way out of extent. The clock's ticking. Both sides are hustling to remain on plan. Prosecutors say they'll wrap things up before long after Brown takes the stand. The defense hasn't said, however, in case Combs himself will affirm. Closing contentions are on the calendar for early another month, and the jury will be cleared out to weigh a mountain of proof from switch logs to lighting maps and perhaps Brown's memos as well. The minute Orlando Brown's hallway sound hit the courtroom, things turned genuine specialized, genuine quick. Right after his subpoena was formally bolted within, the trial hopped straight into the proof stage. And driving the charge was extraordinary operator Lynn Rivas, the computerized forensics boss behind imaging Brown's mystery phone. Rivas broke it down for the jury step by step, clarifying how her group cloned the phone's inside drive, produced a hash esteem, a kind of computerized unique mark, and made a duplicate they may securely analyze. That hash esteem, it remained the same through each single exchange. Something indeed the defense had to concede. But they didn't let it go. They attempted to bend it, barbecuing her on whether there could have been any preset altering on the gadget. Rivas didn't jump. She told the court that profound waveform checks uncovered no signs of altering, no graphs, no alters, and the sound record's time codes. They synced flawlessly with the phone's working framework logs. Once that was verified, prosecutors rolled out the primary voice notice dated at 1:0 a.m. amid Brown's most punctual known visit. Presently, as remote as jury determination goes, I think the greatest takeaway for me is that both sides anticipate to have all of this wiped out the matter of 3 days. Presently, given fair how high-profile this trial is, I was kind of dazed that they appear exceptionally sure that they will be able to see the jury in that sum of time. What happens is, on the off chance that individuals go into a trial accepting the capability on the arraignment is so solid, let's say on a scale of 1 to 100, it's a 95 that it's so solid, but it goes down to an 88. That makes a difference the defense, since everyone goes in considering, wow, they're gonna prove this, and they're gonna prove this, and they're gonna prove this, and all of a sudden none of it's there. I think that actually helps the defense. The court went quiet as the clip played. Brown whispered, "North Wing, moment hallway, taken after by swoon radio chatter." And after that it dropped. Pulse reset. Boom. Prosecutors solidified the sound right there and tossed up a coordinating switch log on the screen. That log appeared Brown's phone interfacing briefly to and get to point called visitor APN2, sending out a record header, and after that going dull once more. The final hearing sometime recently. Sean Combs's trial begins when he walked into government court nowadays. He showed up to be searching for his family. They've lovely much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no nearness of his children or his mother or his sister who had already been at those hearings. Do you still think that since there's this open discernment that there are celebrities' tapes included in this case? No. Do you still think that there are minors included in this case? I'm certain no. Okay. And once more, after you say this case, we're talking the criminal case. The criminal case. Within the criminal case. Within the criminal case. The defense legal counselor, Matthew Hartley, attempted brushing it off, saying the phone likely fair woke up to match up its clock. But Rivas clapped back. The phone had no SIM card and no spared Wi-Fi systems for program to adjust, meaning somebody turned it on reason. At that point, the government pulled out another piece of the astound, a acquirement record as of now affirmed by State Supply Coordinator Olivia Martinez. And a bit like that, the weight in the room bounced up another score. Things kept warming up as prosecutors pulled out a record appearing a late-night arranged check visitor revive with a surge code and a transcribed note that examined utilized pulse card. Olivia Martinez, the state supply facilitator, took the stand and told the jury that express implied an uncommon color-coded laundry cart utilized as it were within the visitor wing for critical needs. The defense attempted to shake her memory, indicating out the arrange happened a long time prior. But Martinez didn't back down. She stood her ground, saying that as it were tall need demands ever included the pulse cart. Next up, Tyler Blake, a building automation engineer who adjusted the estate's lighting framework. He affirmed that support logs appeared 4 manual supersedes that end of the week, all within the visitor wing, and each one diminished the lights for precisely 6 minutes. Prosecutors at that point hit the jury with a smooth line chart, overlaying those lighting plunges with crests in Brown's voice memos, and it lined up flawlessly. Defense lawyer Hartley pushed back, inquiring on the off chance that perhaps a beautician or picture-taker seem have activated those changes for stylish reasons. Blake conceded that in fact manual changes like that were conceivable, but he included a turn. Regularly, a notice note would be entered clarifying the supersede, but those 4 sections no memos at all. At that point it was time for the highlight. Orlando Brown took the stand. Prosecutor Celia Give begun solid, inquiring him to affirm his voice on the memos. And Brown said, "Yes, that's me. Back up a small, it would be ideal if you." "Thank you. How can you back your father?" "Head up." How do you bolster him moving forward? Y'all know this can be your hands up. At trial, Combs will discard the imprisoned attire and wear standard dress as his attorneys contend the proof appears consenting grown-ups being insinuate in their possessed way. We have the most recent from government court within the Sean Combs criminal case. Status of jury selection. What did he's reaching to be wearing? Infringement of a choke arrange. Dismissing a supplication offer. He told the court he'd given over his fundamental phone amid check-in and was inquired to sign a non-disclosure agreement on an advanced tablet. But he furtively kept a moment phone, saying the full setup felt scrappy and he needed to archive things for himself. When Hartley ventured up for cross-examination, he went difficult, indicating to ancient media interviews where Brown gave clashing data around how numerous individuals were there and what time things finished. Diddy's attorneys had contended that he had made great confidence endeavors by appearing up in New York prepared to surrender to confront these charges. But prosecutors said that he seemed not be trusted, that he incorporates a history of attempting to scare witnesses, counting a few who are aiming to be witnesses in this case. They encouraged the judge to remand him. He knows the deck is stacked against him. They've got to prove. Take the supplication bargain, man. Fair take it. Well, my figure is that since we do not know the bargain of the supplication bargain, at slightest I do not think we do. Genuine. Affirm. But Brown let go back that those interviews were casual conversation, not sworn declaration, whereas his memos were genuine time, supported by timestamps, and captured precisely what he was seeing and hearing within the minute. Hartley didn't let up. He focused in on Orlando Brown's Nevada participation agreement, hinting that Brown may well be sweet-talking the court fair to gain a break. But Brown clapped back, saying boisterous and clear that the bargain gets closed down in the event that anything he says turns out untrue. He told the jury his center is straightforward. I'm here to tell it straight, not to cut bargains. After a brief break, things got indeed more seriously. Prosecutors played the moment voice reminder time-stamped fair after 3:00 a.m. The choice ensures Combs will confront trial starting fair 4 days from presently that will test whether one of music's most productive figures utilized his control, riches, and notoriety. Abused both ladies and men for decades. Expand now and then days-long parties by coercing casualties through drugs, dangers, and control. They claim to have video proof, and a few of the allegations resound subtle elements from over 70 gracious claims recorded against Combs over the final 30 a long time. Major advancements this evening, including the case against Shah Diddy Combs. What he chosen in court nowadays and what this presently implies. The move coming fair 4 days sometime recently his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Korsky. In it, Brown discreetly portrays the hallway lights moving to a dim ruddy beat, calling it a running heartbeat. He includes that staff were driving little bunches through a set of reflect-pan-led entryways. At that point, prosecutors dropped a visual punch, a still shot from a movement-activated camera in an adjacent upkeep passage. It appeared a servant pushing a cart labeled Revive with a timestamp landing less than a miniature after the radio chatter in Brown's reporting. The defense questioned, saying the still outline was fair rehashing ancient data. But Judge Subramanian wasn't having it. He ruled the picture may remain, saying different sources of proof made a difference. The jury interfaced the specs. To bolt within the recording's validity, the prosecution brought in Dr. Maya Chin, a signal analysis expert. She testified that the background sound fingerprints like ventilation hum and faint music matched up across all 3 of Brown's memos. That consistency, she said, demonstrates the clips were all made within the same wing of the bequest. Hartley challenged her, saying the same sound design may come from diverse corridors. But Chin pushed back, clarifying that whereas vent commotion might rehash, the combo of resound, music drain, and HVAC beat pins it down to a specific format found within the diagrams. At that point came the kicker. Prosecutors played a brief voicemail cleared out on Brown's moment phone. The voice, affirmed by scientific testing as a staff facilitator working beneath Combs, says, "We'll have the pulse updated and prepared." Boom. Another reference to that coded express. The defense bounced in, calling it dubious, but the judge overruled, indicating out prior declaration demonstrating that pulse was inside lingo for lighting and reconnaissance changes. This evening, Sean Combs makes it official. He's dismissing the government's offer to argue blameworthy and save himself the plausibility of a delayed term in jail. When inquired on the off chance that he turned down the offer, Combs replied, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a loose beige prison uniform. Terms were not unveiled, but prosecutors did say a supplication might result in a shorter sentence for Combs than on the off chance that he's sentenced. Government trafficking, racketeering, and charges beginning Monday morning. Music big shot Sean Diddy Combs back behind bars. A judge denying him safeguard, saying that there were no conditions that she may conceive of that would make her sure that he would show up once more for other court appearances. The judge saying, "My concern is this is a wrongdoing that happens behind closed entryways." Amid cross, Hartley attempted to turn it. Perusing from a housekeeping direct that called a pulse gleam a favor lighting include, but prosecutors weren't letting that slide. They clarified that the direct talks around a consistent lighting setup, not the manual supersedes. Caught within the framework logs. Court wrapped for the day, but not some time recently prosecutors uncovered they've got one final card to play. They're bringing in a records investigator to tie suspicious finance movements specifically to the same weekend's Orlando Browns memos cover. In the interim, the defense is adapting up to roll out a neighborliness professional and a computerization frameworks exec. Both said to contend that lighting abrogates and material spikes are fair typical VIP treatment, nothing shady. Judge Subramanian wasn't playing around. He told both sides to keep their closing rundowns tight and on point, caution that tech conversation way better adhere to what really things in this case. No diversions, no lighting. As the trial races toward the wrap-up, the genuine fight is precious stone clear. Brown's voice memos, the synced-up organized logs, and surge-arranged supply records are now front and center within the arraignment story. They say it all fits together as well flawlessly to be arbitrary. But the defense is multiplying down, saying it's all fair coincidence. The common chaos of running a extravagance domain, not a few calculated plot. Gonna be such an enormous trial, like possibly the biggest Hollywood trial. God knows which way it's aiming to go. Are they gonna, is it planning to go on for weeks? And gracious, for beyond any doubt weeks. Presently, it's up to the jury to choose which adaptation holds up in a government court. In case you're snared on this case and need to remain bolted in because it unfurls, hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment underneath, and share this video with somebody who must listen it. See you on the following one. And believe it's as it we're getting more profound from here.